Hello, I am Dr. Amber Archuleta Lucero with my co-host Claudia Chacon. Welcome to EPCC Talks. We are so excited today. We are at Makerspace at Valle Verde, and we've been trying to get here for almost, since last year. So we are extremely excited to be here. And I'd like to introduce the individuals that are oversee Makerspace, and then we'd like to talk to them a little bit in depth about this wonderful collaboration. So I'd like to introduce to you Fan Chen and Calvert Boyle. Welcome to EPCC Talks, and thank you for hosting us today.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. So, one of the things that we wanted to do, as I had been talking to Dr. Chen, is get over here and just see the beautiful, wonderful environment that you have here. And so let me talk to Chen first of all, a little bit about sort of I saw the vision, and there's just this wonderful information here. But tell me a little bit about the vision, the mission, and when it started. And then Claudia and I will kind of go back and forth with you and Calvert, and we can just have a conversation about it.
Cool. Okay, so vision is years ago, when we got the STEM Growth grants, we started seeing, there's a gap between K through 12 and 4-year institution. When the student come into community college, they were very highly involved with hand-on learning, and they have 3D printing, they have Makerspace in a lot of those high school libraries, right? And in the university level, they have Makerspace, they have 3D printings, they have CNC machine. And for the student who come into community college, suddenly it just dropped to paper and pencil learning, and there's not that much hand-on learning. I'm teaching math. I really wanted to have my student to study playing with something, and from playing then to learn. So that was the initial idea of bringing such place for the student to play and doing some hand-on exercise. It's not like the lab, you sign up for a biology class, engineer class, only the registered students can go in to play with the equipment or supplies, but a common place. Everyone can come here, doodle out the ideas and start the building, playing with that, is enjoy the failures and celebrate the success, right? So that is the idea behind that. With our divisions, at the time was Dr. Maya and also STEM Growth Grant, we started planning to build this place. We reach out to our community. For instance, UTEP Scholar Makerspace and Harmony's Makerspace. We went to take a look how they build their Makerspace, what lesson they learn, and then we started designing our Makerspace. That is how it came from.
No, that's awesome. And Calvert Boyle, thank you. And you're the coordinator of this wonderful, atmosphere. Tell me a little bit about the actual day when students were coming in. Tell me what that looked like.
Well, we had kind of set up the place to where we can conduct a lot of tours. Essentially students or anyone who is a part of EPCC, we say students, but really it's open to everyone, could come in and see just like what the space looked like. It had been in all these documents, had been mentioned by word of mouth, but nothing had been seen yet. So especially during the pandemic, no one could really come and see the place in progress. So we just had set up the room to where they can kind of see all of the different stations. They can kind of walk around, see what equipment we have, what tools we have that they could start to learn how to use, and then just tell them a bit about the space, of how to become a user, where they could use this in their classes or for research or whatnot. So for the grand opening, we essentially just kind of told people about the space and kind of showed it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Fan, in terms of the, I know students, the primary focus is students. Mm-hmm. Let's say a faculty member, wanted to come in and utilize the space. Is there a process for faculty and staff, and the difference between that and say, student usage of Makerspace?
Okay, so let me go back a little bit history. We have a committee. Before Cal comes to the history, we have a committee formed by faculty, and we kind of talk about how we can use the Makerspace. One of the things we wanted the people to distinguish, this Makerspace is different from lab. So faculty should not use this place as a regular class scheduling. They could come into 1 or 2 class periods to learn about the Makerspace. However, the other times should be free, opening space for anyone can come. So for faculty, definitely they can contact any of us, maybe Cal or maybe me, and talk about how we can use Makerspace and integrate that into your curriculums. Definitely, that's not like a very like a solid procedure, what step you need to take, but just coming to us and then having the conversation, talk about what kind of concept, what kind of idea you have in your classroom. Maybe you can use some of the equipment or supplies in Makerspace, then we come up with some plan, and then from there we will say, okay, let's see when is a opening, you can bring your students in, and after that your student can feel free to come in anytime and to do the work on the projects yourself. It doesn't have to be having the instructor being on site with the students.
Yeah, there's not really like a step-by-step,
Yeah.
like 10-step process. It's more just they will contact me, if they're interested, and set up a consultation. So it's just one 1 hour meeting to where it's just like, all right, which station would you like to go with? What does your schedule look like? I, encourage them to just come to me. They can essentially come to me almost whenever in the semester. But I always say, like, it just helps if you come earlier, but it's mainly just to give them the most amount of time. I say, like, okay, how can I help you the most? So, like, how can we set this up to your students have the most amount of time? It makes this easier on you. And essentially I just walk them through the process. They'll just come in with their class during their reserve time. They do have to be there. They can't just like peace out and leave me to babysit. So it's just they'll schedule a 2-hour window of like, oh, I'd like to use the laser cutters during this 2-hour window for my class. So they'll just come in with their class. Each student will go through the process. I'll walk them through the equipment and whatnot and like how these things go. And then they'll just usually just dive in straight into their projects. There's no really a whole lot of like learning. It's just very hands-on and it's very user-friendly.
And one more thing I want to add to that
course.
is a must to do is the safety training.
Oh,
And
yes.
everyone come to the Makerspace, the first thing they need to go through the safety training with really easy process online, but we want you to read about our station, what you need to pay attention to before you come to use any of the supplies or equipment. For some of the station, we mark as a red or yellow, different zone, then there's a different level of the safety training. So that will be carried on during the conversation. After we know what station you are using, then we say, okay, that's the next level of safety. You need to get training for that. Right now, we are collecting data to see how much our staff, faculty, student will use Makerspace. So for this 1 or 2 years, I believe, is all free for all the EPCC community.
Wonderful. And the way the space is laid out at Valle Verde, there are individual rooms and zones in which students or faculty and or community can utilize that. So in terms of the woodshop, what are some things that are available and an individual could do?
Yes, so for the woodshop, out of our 9 stations that we offer right now, the woodshop can be broken down into 3 branches. We have the hand tools, all your hammers and screwdrivers, files, rulers, whatever you would need. We have those for them to rent and kind of use. And then the second part is the portable electric equipment. Those are your palm sanders, palm routers, hand drills, circular saw, jigsaw, plus all the bits and bobbins that go with it, the different shapes for the palm routers, the different sizes for the hand drill, different grit count for the angle grinder and sander that they can kind of choose from for their for whatever project they're working on. And then we have the stationary equipment, which are like, the big ticket items, your chop saw, your bandsaw, drill press, industrial table saw. We have a wide variety of equipment.
What is the long-term vision for this area, Fan? I mean, as I said, it's an incredible space, but I know there's a long-term vision. Knowing you, there's a long-term vision for this space. So talk to me a little bit about that.
The long-term vision is having definitely this is the place is people will connect with each other, right? Networking places with, among faculty, staff, and our students. And in the future, the long-term can be opening to our community, like our El Paso local community, and especially we have so many people are living, they are low-income students. They might never explore in such technology. what is the 3D printing, right? What is laser cutting? They have no idea what this is. So for our children, they never can imagine their future career and the dream without this kind of boundary, because they only see people are lawyers or accountants or doctors. Maybe they only limited their vision in that kind of career. But Makerspace will open their eyes. When they are playing with this, but that's where the imagination coming from. So they will start to connect, who is the one designed this little spherical, what does that call, right? So that is how I decided to become a mechanical engineer, because I went to see the machine. I was so amazed what the machine can do for the little things. And I said, who did this? What's the job to do that? They said, oh, that's called mechanical design engineer. So, oh, that's what I wanted to do. So my long vision is having this place, we become El Paso to go place to educate our children to, broaden their dream for that. And we are sitting in the room we call clean room. Basically, it looks like a maybe regular lab, but there's a lot of hidden treasure in here. Behind you, you see is a 3D printing.
Yes.
Anything you can imagine no longer is drawing on the 2D paper. Now you can print it out in a 3D object. You can see it. Your dream come true, your idea come true. And in front of you, that is called laser cutter. Anything you can draw, and you can, convert it in a piece of wood art in minutes like this, right? And then we have a 3D scanner behind you, and that's the place that you say, okay, I have no idea how to draw this on paper. I can scan it out and use my computer program to convert it to duplicate the object to print it out from the 3D printers. And we also, eventually we have our VR station, which is virtual reality, and we will benefit at least for my math students a lot, because they can go into this 3D world to learn about the relationship between this curve and this, and this surface and any points in the space. And what else? We have sewing machine over there, right? You can sew, and we have Legos. Everyone loves Legos, including the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, all of us
Yeah,
do,
we have
right?
we have Lego station, so you can build your ideas together.
Yes.
So that's our vision, is having you to come out here to play, to learn, and to have fun.
And that's the beauty of it. As Claudia and I were, researching and looking at some of the things, I know she has some questions just in terms of the way in which, we have some things in front of us, and I know we'll get a shot of this. But there's some, I just want to hear about how, like you said, the community, the faculty, the staff, and especially our students, can come and see something in their mind manifest into, a fruition of something tangible.
I do want to emphasize that the best part about Makerspaces is that it's open to everyone. You don't just have to be part of the architecture. It's not only art students can use this or STEM students can use this. If it's like culinary arts, if it's physics, history, English, anyone from any kind of background or field of study can come and utilize and learn about the technology, and it's all available to everyone. They aren't limited to certain stations depending on their field of study. And it's also doesn't matter what level of background of experience, whether you've worked with 3D printers for the past 5 years or just heard about the concept of 3D printing 10 minutes ago, you're more than welcome to come and learn about all the different, equipment and technology and softwares that we have to offer, to really explore and to get into the technology and whatnot.
And I think that's the beauty of what you're doing, right? You are outreaching, marketing to various groups, because like you said, I think there's this maybe assumption that, that's a space for these, students. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think it's important as we build the community here at El Paso Community College that we understand that all of us have access to these things. So thank you. And then let me ask you a piggyback on that. Cal, how is it that you market? I mean, this is such a new space. And what is it that you all are doing just in terms of getting out, hey, this is what's happening? I saw it, the reason I saw it, I think, was on the news and events on our website. But what are some things that you're doing just in terms of getting the word out?
Yeah, well, to start off with, we do follow a couple of classic methods. We get the news out online for the newsletter and whatnot. We have posters that advertise it. We try and give out samples to different people of, our 3D icon for the keychains or, ear savers or anything like that, to kind of get that word out. We also, some of the professors, the very bold and brave ones, have approached us and they've wanted to work on class projects. So, we've helped them with their class projects, whether it's midterm or final projects, use the different stations. And so we just say like, hey, tell all your friends, tell all your coworkers that this space is available. It's open to everyone.
And also, our grand opening, it was during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
So it's not
Yes, I
really
know.
good timing for the face-to-face,
Yes.
the hand-on things. But before our grand opening, our Makerspace was already working with students and faculty. Like for instance, we have history instructor using 3D printers to do project for the history class. And we have engineer, physics, and biology instructor using the Makerspace. And I did use that for math classes. And this place also serving the community as well. In front of you, there are two projects we did during at the beginning of pandemic. I'm holding this is called 3D printing mask. When we have the PPE shortage, that's what our Makerspace cooperating with UTEP Makerspace and Harmony Makerspace and Texas Tech Makerspace. We are all printing out 3D printing masks and also the face shield donated to the healthcare workers and community people, children, and our mask shipped to New York and Mexico as well. So we give back to the student, and this is also is education's moment for our kids too, right? Right now, you guys will see eventually in your mouth, we have a lot of ear saver. Maybe you are tired of wearing the mask and your ear hurting you, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes,
this is the things we are going to check your mailboxes, and you will see that eventually, and you can use that to with your mask and save your ear. So ear saving. Just wanted to make sure we did not decide this. So in our 3D community globally, we share our resources. So everything file we develop, we upload that free for everyone to download and modify to use it. And also for the advertising, we are not that good with that. We're just thinking, the traditional way to reach out to people, and also we're providing workshop to teach the people what the Makerspace is. And sometimes when people see 3D printing or any kind of machine, they feel like very intimidated.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's, oh my goodness, I am not in the engineer field, or I'm not in this field. How can I learn to do that? And no. And this is really easy. Coming, and we promise that you can print out your first project less than half an hour. Not designed by you though, but from somebody else, we modify that. You can print it out. When you're holding a project in your hand, you say, hey, I can do it. And next thing, I can design myself.
I think it provides like a level of confidence,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
That you have something that you're holding that you've completed, that you've worked on. So I think that's exciting.
Yeah, just coming over and then we show you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. I know that there's been like a huge movement, and I know that you mentioned that anybody can come, any discipline. I mean, I teach in the history discipline, so now I'll be thinking where I can fit you guys in. But I know that there's been like a huge movement on the STEMs, right? I have two sisters, and they're in the STEMs field, and it makes me happy to see women. There's been like a huge movement to try to get little girls to get involved in this, so thank you for that. Two, I know I read in your bio that you have opened this to people from K to 12, or you have focused on that, right? Did I misread that, or is that accurate?
That was the long-term goal. But right now, we focus on only our El Paso Community College population.
Yeah. Yes. Anyone from the EPCC community. It also doesn't matter what campus. If it's like Trans Mountain or Rio Grande, I can't bring the lab to them. But if they want to come down to the lab, I'm more than happy to host them. They'll come and learn about all the technology. It's not just Valle Verde.
Okay. So let's say that a lot of us volunteer out in the community. So let's say that I volunteer with a group of kiddos. Is it possible for any of us that we're faculty, we're part of the EPCC community, to bring a group of little ones to expose them to the space?
Oh yeah, we give
For the
tours,
tours, yeah.
all
You
the
do?
time. Yeah,
Okay, that's wonderful.
a few weeks ago, if I remember correctly, I had hosted like 5 groups of third graders, about 20 per group, and just showed them about like makerspaces in general, and showed them all the different technologies that we had. We've had other school districts. We've had a few people from Clint, come on up and say like, okay, so we want to start this we want to hop on the makerspace movement. Where do we go? And I'll be like, I got you covered. Like, here's everything you need to know. Here's all the paperwork. Here's all the systems that we use, just so that they're, not only do they have their own makerspace, but it's kind of like everyone's on the same page. It's not, oh, well, we had this one thing in high school and now they don't have that in college. It's just, that we try to continue on and carry on so that the students, can use the different types of technology, but also like continue their work no matter, what age or level of education they're at the moment.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like I said, I've served in several community organizations, and a lot of them are children.
Yeah.
And so I know that one of the concerns of the parents was like, where do I get my child to get at least some introduction to education or academia, right? Because it depends, and I realize, and I continue running studies, it depends on what area they grew up in. They're only exposed to certain things, right? And so I made it my ultimate goal to expose them to other things besides, a lot of them were contemplating joining the military. So yes, I mean, it's great, right? But even in the military, you have these specialties. So even if you join the military, maybe there is a STEM area that you would like to focus on. And so I find that very helpful, at least for me. So I can schedule some of these children to come in with me.
Yeah.
And then third, I'm a first responder, so I appreciate all these items, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. It was very hard for us to get access to PPE. It did not matter how much a chief order, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So I really appreciate this, that you printed masks. The shields are very, very helpful. Do you think you could go a little bit more in detail where you have found the most need for these items? Where did you guys specifically donate?
Okay, yes. The projects that we started from the idea was, I have friends, I come from China, friends telling me the mask, having trouble to ship the mask to United States, and when we were having some shortage in here, because at that time I ordered like thousands of masks I wanted to donate to our health workers. And from there, I started thinking, okay, how can we help the community, right? And so, you just Google stuff and then suddenly figure out, and there was a doctor create this model on saying that can help with our healthcare workers. Basically, the idea was like the regular medical mask, you can cut it in 6 pieces, which one mask becomes 6 masks, right? So and then later on, our community figure out we can use the air conditioners.
HEPA filters?
Yeah, the HEPA filters to do that. So that was the idea coming from. And we said, okay, let's start with action. And at that time, I was still under the STEM Grow grant, so I have access for the 3D printer. So I contacted Dr. Amaya. At that time, he was my dean. And I said, can I just bring the 3D printer home to print some masks to help the community? He said, sure. And I said, may I have our Makerspace to get involved, because my title is the chair for the committee, right? So he said, sure. And then also we reached out to VP Smith as well, and he is a huge supporter as well. He printed masks and face shield at home to support us. And then we reach out for other community, and so we got this going. We started printing, and we have a team. We have the public library librarian. Her job is reaching out to the community to see who then have the need, and we created our website. We created form, just send it out, and they can request from any places. and also we have homeless people in here, and we give out the masks, and then we have, even our colleagues have their family could not buy the mask, and then we donate it to them. Everything is donated, and we say we kindly accept donation, but we don't charge the people for the mask cost. And when the New York was in very bad situation at that time, critical moment, and we have New York people somehow found out our website and send the requirements, like a request, and I said sure, yeah. So we ship the mask to New York too, and we have mask shipped to Alamogordo as well. So all over the places. We still have some right now. We have leftover.
Oh yes, I do want to note that all of our stuff that we 3D printed is completely free. It's just sign a form saying you received the item, but it's completely free otherwise. So. You don't have to worry if you have say one HEPA filter. I mean, you could get 100 squares out of that, and then essentially you have 100 masks. But just with the one 3D printed mask, you have all your filters.
That is, I think, all of what you said today is so significant. It not only just because of the timing of everything that Professor Chacon mentioned, but just in general. The feeling in here of this equipment, that it's tangible, it's accessible, and the community, the students, the faculty have access to this. I just would really like to thank you on behalf of EPCC Talks and Professor Chacon and myself to host us today. I could stay here another hour with you and listen to this because it really is exciting and incredible. I'm coming from a different discipline, but this is an environment that thrives. And so congratulations. To both of you. Thank you for again hosting us. We would love to come back.
Oh, of course,
and I know
anytime.
maybe with the tour with Professor Chacon and her group. And any last parting words as we are closing for today?
I just wanted to go back to your vision, your outreach, and your workshop with the children community. Although we only opened to EPCC community, but think about that, you are the faculty here, right? Or you are the staff here. If you wanted to do some project and bring this project to your community, you can be here and making stuff and bring it to the community. We started from there, and I really love everyone to pass the word about this makerspace and just coming to use it. Because my long-term vision is this place will be crowded, full of people.
Yes.
Right? I don't want the lab become like a quiet place and then just hitting in the corner forever and later on get forgotten.
Sure.
Right? So please help us to bring more people to use it.
Absolutely.
If you don't know don't have any idea how to use any of the equipment, you bring your content expertise here and to talk to us like, this is the idea. I'm not quite sure what I can build. And Cal and I can do brainstorming with you guys. I say, yeah, maybe you can use this equipment to create some project with us.
Yes.
Yeah, I do want to emphasize that, again, jumping off of Fan, that this is a resource and it's for everyone. Again, doesn't matter your field of study, doesn't matter your level of background experience, this is for you to not only learn about the different types of technology out there, but to gain hands-on experience, to gain those skills and to practice with them so that you can take them on into your future jobs and careers. It's not just, I'm learning a couple of examples out of a textbook and I'm never going to think about them after I graduate. It's, I have learned how to use a laser cutter, and so when I interview for a job, if I see, they need someone to help out with the laser cutter in XYZ field, I already know how to do that, or I at least I have dealt with that technology before, so this is for everyone, and we're more than happy to have everyone. Again, doesn't matter if you're a student or staff or faculty, administration, everyone a part of the EPCC community is open. We have our My EPCC resource page under services, and we post everything on there, how to become a user, all the important links that you may need, just all the documents like the safety forms, the FAQs, the equipment lists, it's all there if they want to go ahead and check it out even before they step into the room. We try to give them the most amount of material that they can use, just even if it's outside of hours or something like that. So again, it's all there for people for free.
And what we'll do is at the broadcast, we'll have a link so that people can just click on there and get the information. Any parting words as we leave today, Professor Chacon?
Thank you so much for inviting us. I look forward to bringing people here and mentioning it. I will spread the word. And thank you once again as a first responder.
So on behalf of EPCC Talks and Professor Chacon, Fan Chen, Calvert Boyle, I'd like to just encourage you to reach out to Makerspace. And once again, thank you for being a part of EPCC Talks.